All right, it says we're live. I'm assuming
Okay.
we're live. All
Yeah, I
right,
think so.
Matt, you can hear me. I can hear you. I can see you. Everyone out there on the internet, welcome. I'm Mike. This is MikeGolfsOregon. Tonight, I have with me somebody that I'm super excited to have on the channel to talk to, someone that I've followed for a very long time, Matt Wong of Golf Parfection. His channel's what? You're just like a tick under 7,000 subscribers right now,
Yeah.
390 videos. I wrote all this down, so this isn't coming from memory.
Sure, sure, sure.
2.6 million views. He is an absolute metronome in terms of getting content out there. And so you can always count on Matt. I think it's 8 a.m. Pacific on Mondays. Out comes a new video, and it's always a really good time. So Matt, thank you so much for coming on. I told you I wasn't going to be a total stan. I'm going to try not to. How are you doing?
No, I'm doing well. I mean, got to play today,
Yeah.
so no complaints there. It's getting, I mean, everyone's saying it's been colder than usual, and I tend to agree, but in California, us Californians don't have much to complain about
You
compared
don't.
to other states.
So
So
how'd you play?
not well. But
Well,
it wasn't
okay.
really about that, so, it's
Yeah.
just out there for fun, right?
I played today, and I think there were 3 other groups on the course, on the entire course.
Oh, wow. Was
We
that because
have
of the weather?
Yeah, so we deal with right now through the through like Wednesday of this week, we have what's called an atmospheric river, and it's exactly what you think. It's just an absolute crazy amount of moisture and rain in the atmosphere just dropping
Okay.
non. And we had, I think it was gusting to like 35 miles an hour this morning, and it's not cold, it's like 53, um, but just constant moisture coming down. The course is pretty waterlogged, even though it drains fairly well,
Oh.
so super challenging conditions. But I actually played really, really good. Totally counterintuitive, but love being out there in these kind of conditions because it keeps a lot of people off the course, so you just have the place to yourself, which is always fantastic.
Alright, awesome, man. Yeah, I
So
mean, I feel like those conditions lean well to if you were to, film or something, that's, like, really advantageous, but, I'm sure we'll talk about something like that later, but,
yeah, I
yeah,
will say
I
it
digress.
creates, it creates very challenging recording situations. It's very difficult to record, but if you want to do it, you're kind of the only one doing it, and it's great to have the place to yourself for doing that. But
For sure.
speaking of recording, so I wrote this down because I want to say it so bad. That being said, uh,
Okay, yeah, that's my, when I do voiceovers, that's the one of the my I just everyone has, like, their ticks or,
their verbal tick.
their verbal ticks, that's definitely one of them that I say quite a bit on my voiceovers, and it's just second nature, and you can't really stop it,
You can,
but
I wouldn't want you to, and honestly, you're not as, it doesn't come out as often as it used to.
sure.
I think I may have even made a comment on one of your videos like way back. I played a drinking game one time when you did That Being Said, and it, it did not
You
end
almost
well.
died.
It did not end well. It was like,
Sure.
you got to get a second bottle. So, but anyways, that being said, let's start with sort of you and golf and your story in golf. I know your very first video is like from 5 years ago. It's you on your high school. I think you say you call it your high school home course, Kings River Country Club. Shout out to the white belt. Looks awesome. Um, Tell me how you got into golf. I know you say that your dad took you, your dad got you into it. Give me sort of the story how you got into golf.
Yeah, sure. I mean, like it's your kind of typical, father wants son to play golf kind of deal and gets you your first set of clubs and I did enjoy it, but I didn't think I enjoyed it to the level I enjoy it right now. But
Yeah.
yeah, I played as a kid, on and off, and like that home course, my dad was a part of, that country club. And it's not like it's not like country club in terms of, like Olympic Club or stuff, those
Pink,
kind of crazy
pinky
clubs
up.
too. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I
yeah,
mean,
yeah.
it's just like I mean, yeah, it's country club in terms of just it's run by members, it's funded by members kind of deal, not like, a municipality or like, public tea times, right? So, we were part of the country club and I totally took it for granted as a kid. It wasn't something that I went and did all the time. And I had the opportunity to play all the time and I did it. You know, I think kids our age weren't as interested in golf as maybe kids would be now.
Uh-huh.
And so, I was only playing not that often, and I wasn't that good. So then, through grade school, um, didn't play all that much. But then high school, I played on the team. There's
Okay.
only one golf team, and I was never like the top golfer or whatever. Then I played on and off. Went on, did some golf with my folks and some family members, and then in college I kind of just stopped. I didn't have a car and, didn't want to make the effort to, go off campus. I was doing a lot of other things than golf.
Yeah.
And then maybe it was after I graduated college, I was playing maybe like once or twice a year. And then the pandemic hit, and then that's when things started taking off, and I started taking it a little bit more seriously and playing a lot more. Not necessarily getting a lot better, but just playing for the social aspect of, hanging out with friends and stuff. So
Yeah.
that's kind of like the whole 1,000 foot level in terms of getting into it for
So
sure.
really, your return to golf is actually more recent than I would have imagined. If you took a break, kind of, well, let's say a break where you weren't really regular about it in college and didn't really come back to it until the pandemic. That's actually, to me, says you really kind of are more recent back to golf than I would have imagined.
Yeah.
Especially
So
the level that you, even in your first videos, the level of golf that you play in your first videos, it's not like you're some complete hack, right?
no, yeah, yeah, true, true. And I think there is like a baseline, like breaking, you know, low 90s to breaking 90, was something that I could just kind of just squeeze out. And sometimes you take that for granted if you're not to say that I'm a great level golfer, but
Yeah,
there is a whole mass of golfers that are maybe, are having trouble breaking that barrier. And sometimes you have to really when you're be empathetic to that audience as well, right?
yeah,
And so yeah, like I think because of my course management and knowing my swing, it really helps me, to just shoot around that pretty easily, even while filming. Um, so yeah, there is that. But yeah, I mean, I'm not like I don't call myself a great golfer. I'm just a pretty middle of the road, and that's what you see, and that's what I kind of portray on my channel.
my theory on that. Well, first of all, I would say 90 is like a big hurdle. Just anytime search YouTube search bar and put breaking 90 golf, and it's just a flood of channels. It's a
Oh,
flood of
sure.
videos, right? Because it is a pretty big threshold. And I was looking at my grant app today, and on my course, I've got, like, this will be the second year in a row that my average score is under 90, which to me, I like hadn't really been paying attention to it. I'm like, that's actually a pretty big deal. That's actually pretty darn cool. But my theory on golf is that because it is a game of, hopefully for everyone, a game of progression, like you're constantly getting better, that you very rarely talk to a golfer who will openly just say, "Yeah, I'm really good."
Yeah, 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 yeah. It's like
Everyone thinks they suck. Everyone's like, "I'm no good. I'm no good. I'm no good." Um, that you talk to a 10 handicap who says they're no good, and it's like, well, no, you're actually you're pretty good. You're pretty good. So
yeah, for sure. And then like the really great golfers, they'd never admit it, that's the thing.
yeah, yeah.
They just let
Or
their
they
game kind of do their talking and they're very humble about it. So
Yeah, the
the ones
best
that I've
golfers
been
I play with
encountering.
don't talk. They don't want to talk about. They just don't want to talk about it. They'd rather just say, "Well, let's just go play."
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly,
I play a
exactly.
bit. I play a bit. I
Yeah.
can move it around. I want to say shout out to Paul out there. I see Paul in the comments there at the Bump and Run Club.
All
Um,
right, bump and run, gang. Let's go.
yeah, Bump and Run gang, let's go. I have been using the Bump and Run so much. I hit it almost on every hole today. It's fantastic.
Oh yeah. Love it.
So let's get straight to the topic that I put in the title of the video. Let's talk about putters. Okay.
Okay.
I think this is
Sure.
because I'm a one putter guy. I've been a one putter guy since 1996, same putter. So I'm fascinated by the whole, like, I feel like there's a separate subculture of putter heads in golf. And you clearly are in that subculture, which I get it. I understand. I see it. How many putters do you currently own?
I mean, honestly, it is. I would have to like sit down here and try to count up. It's too many. And honestly, it wouldn't be, something that I would normally pursue or do if I didn't have the channel.
Yeah.
And it's actually bringing about new thoughts and mentality around, purchasing equipment that I'm sure a lot of people are going through. And, not that I have some profound messaging that I'm going to be stating in some upcoming videos, but like reviewing putters and trying different putters, in a short period of time. I I get people do it for content and stuff like that, but like there's no like I'm having trouble, being authentic in terms of giving genuine recommendations about products that I've been using. And and this is just the more recent ones that I've been using. The stuff that's
Yeah.
live right now, it's true. But now that I've been trying other things, like I have a queue of some putters that I've been using, and now it's starting to split hairs, or I can't really tell the difference between what I'm using.
What do you mean
So
by when you say you can't be authentic to it? I know. So like I would say recently, like the shift has been you've like tested, you purchased and taken out on the course
yeah,
for everyone's benefit a lot of zero torque putters, right? Zero torque is the
yeah,
thing, so that's where you're at. What do you mean by not being authentic? Is it because
or
it's like
not
I'm not
authentic,
playing
but like hard to give like any valuable good suggestions based upon what I'm using because like for today, for instance, I tried something different, right? And I was like, I can't really discern if there's any difference of better or worse than like the now like six or whatever five putters that I've used previously. Before it was like, okay, yeah, one putter when I only had been using like a pool of three putters, I could tell ABC which one of the ABC pool was the best for me. But now I'm like five or six putters in, A through F or whatever. I couldn't
yeah,
tell you like if F was that much better than D or E, right? And it just made me go through this whole mentality of like people who review putters online and post videos, how are they actually giving meaningful information with confidence saying this is a good putter? Because I am struggling to actually be able to say with a straight face, "Oh, this is awesome and everyone should go buy that." And, I mean, I get people like, putting out information on a putter and saying, the stuff that manufacturers, want to say or have posted.
right.
But then you get people who are on a putting green, just hitting 4 footers. Wow, this is amazing. And they've made like a putt. And it's like, okay, yeah, but yeah, so is I could do that with, a bullseye putter, a mini golf putter, and it's the
Right,
same thing.
right, right.
So, with some of my
A
videos, I was
shovel.
like, yeah, a shovel, a brick on a stick. And so some of my videos, I was like, okay, I'm gonna be, all high and mighty, take out the putters onto the golf course. Cause then I could say, oh yeah, at least I used it on the golf course. And I can say, oh yeah, in a round, it's better for XYZ. But now that I've reviewed so many putters, it's hard to even discern now with that experience, if a putter is good for, an individual or myself. So it
Do you,
really makes me think about the whole category
yeah,
in itself, like club reviews, other
yeah.
than like metrics. And yeah, that's a whole nother conversation.
Do you think it's sort of a convergence of the technology? So like there's no real huge distinguishing factor other than when they suddenly came out with, hey, it's low torque or zero torque, which seemed to be a pretty big change, right? Do you think it's sort of like the technology all sort of it's like water, right? It all floods into that new area. And so there's a convergence of technology. So it's hard to split hairs between three or four different zero torque putters.
I think that's part of it, true, as well. But then I think it's as mid handicappers or people who are just weekend golfers or just myself, I'm not playing enough golf to where I can, definitively say one's better than another. And I'm not tracking I guess, the stats like strokes gained or anything to be able to give any like valuable, data in
Yeah.
terms of which is better than not. I just don't have enough time. I
Yeah.
don't do this full time, right?
Yeah, give me an 8 foot, left to right putt downhill to make a cut to tell you whether or not I think
Yeah.
this putter is any good or not. But that
Yeah.
just that situation doesn't come up in my life ever.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, it's not like, I tried to put out content to review a putter, right? And I thought I was high and mighty, because I was on a course doing it. And I thought, oh, yeah, mine is superior to those who are just standing around on a putting green, which I still think it is better. But,
It is better. I'll tell you this. It
but
is better, Matt. It is better.
right, right. But then I'm like, how can all these people release all these videos, all these putter reviews, and really like, I know it's kind of like the vicious cycle of, creating content and then you're beholden to the manufacturers that give you the product. So you have to say what they want to say and then try to put your touch on it. But that whole, for at least putters, that whole process is like not very authentic. I feel like that's where we
Yeah.
come back to
Yeah.
authenticity. Like, how
Yeah.
can you actually, you know, give information about what you think about a putter and have it any meaningful information to give, you know, to give someone enough information to make a decision on purchasing.
Yeah.
That's
No,
where I'm
that totally,
struggling.
yeah, that totally answers what I was asking. Like you're trying to not be the shill, right? The corporate shill who's just going to spout whatever they gave you in terms of marketing materials, which I know you're purchasing these putters, right? You're not
Oh yeah, I'm in.
you're not in
Yeah, let's not talk
equipment.
about how much I've
You're,
spent on
yeah,
putters. Yeah,
yeah, that's a different episode. Lots of dollar signs. So they're either a corporate shill and they're just spouting it, or it is, and there's some game playing here, right? And it's not that it's good or bad, but they're also capitalizing on interest. It's sort of like interest in a topic. The latest putter is
yeah,
going to get you clicks. And
right,
so I'm
right.
going to put it out there. And then you know what? I'm going to be relatively positive about it because I don't want any negative reaction from, from whoever, from Callaway or whatever, if a video
Sure,
happens to hit and I'm sitting there trashing their putter. I totally get
exactly.
that. I totally get
Yeah,
that. Do you have what's your favorite all-time putter?
all-time putter.
Yeah.
I
If
think
I told you you had one putter for the rest of your life and you're in the same boat as me, what are you going with?
we'll do it since I've started. So for the past 5
Okay.
years,
Yeah.
I think historically for me, it's the Jailbird, White Hot Jailbird. I
Okay.
think for me, that's the one that was like, okay, yeah, I'm actually noticing some putting improvement. So I gamed that one the longest. That being said, there are some new contenders to replace that, but right now, that was kind of like the first
That
putter
being
that I
said,
yeah, that being said, that yeah, took a drink. I'll join you on that one. Um, that being
I
said,
didn't I didn't intend to do that, but that
no,
it just
that
it
was
just
on point.
it just struck
That was
me.
on point. No, yeah, that was the first putter I bought on the channel. It's like, oh yeah, man, I'm like making some putts, and I'm recording, and it's making. I feel like I'm gaining stroke. I don't know if statistically I was putting better, but it felt like it.
That's the one that
Um,
you turned into an arm lock, right?
yeah, that's the one I, interestingly enough, for better or worse, turned it into an arm lock. That's not how you're supposed to use it, but I think what it did for me, it helped me roll the ball out a little bit further. So I was, putting a little bit more speed on my putts.
Yeah.
And, I think that's one thing that mid handicaps should try to do is get away from like constantly dying it to the hole
Yep.
and at least get it at least 2 feet, past,
Yep.
regardless of uphill, downhill. But anyways, that's one of my favorite putters. But there is one now of all the zero torque ones that I've been testing. That's kind of been the clear front runner. And that's actually dropping tomorrow.
Also,
But yeah,
no spoilers for us.
not yeah. Well, it's a bit nardy. We'll put it
I
that
was
way.
gonna say,
But
is it a
yeah,
Betty? I know you were talking about him and you bought one.
yeah,
So.
yeah. I think of all the zero torque. I think that one so far, if I can say through all the zero torque putters that I've tried, that's the one that I prefer. And it's the same thing. It's arm locking and counterbalance putter.
Oh,
So yeah, yeah.
interesting. That was the next question that I had on the putter thing is one, what happened to the arm lock and will you go back to that? Because you did seem to be pretty successful with it.
Yeah, I actually do. I'm like a full believer in like repeatability in golf. So trying to not, uh, introduce any, like try to get rid of as many variables as possible when you're on the course. So that's why
Yeah.
kind of one length arm lock, kind of like Bryson, just, doing what he was doing. But especially for mid handicaps, like if you like, I don't think people understand that even ball position. If you don't have the same ball position throughout your clubs for, that could like that could make a difference in terms of
Yeah.
mishits and stuff. So one link was a good way just to naturally eliminate that, and then also arm lock helps with that too because you're kind of eliminating your wrist rotations through the stroke. So and the setup too. But so yeah, I'm going back right now in this next video, arm locking a counterbalance again. So we'll see.
Nice. Nice. I'll look forward to that one. It has to be tomorrow, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, good deal. So you talk about, it's interesting. You say, I want to take the variables out and it's about repeatability. Do you carry 14 clubs?
Yeah, I do carry 14.
Okay.
Yeah, so I mean, it's not that I used all of them in a round, but yeah, I do carry the 14. And yeah, I'm trying to mix and match and try to find whatever's easiest to get around the course. So I have interesting bag makeup. I like two sets of
Explain,
clubs right now. Yeah.
explain interesting bag makeup, because I know that you've been out with single length for a long time. You've played single length. You've done the fitting videos with single length, and then you've also played variable length. So what's your interesting makeup?
So right now I like have two two separate golf bags, one single length one and then one like variable length bag. So some in the future videos, you'll see what variable length clubs I play. I had tried those, forged cheap irons. I've
Yeah.
tried Olimars, so it kind of got me back into variable length.
Okay.
So yeah, I don't know. Now just have two sets of golf bags. So when I do a what's in the bag, it'll be like a single length bag and then also a variable length bag. So
What's in the bags?
yeah, what's in the bags, plural. And I did and it was fine switching back and forth. So when I did the Scotty Cameron putter review, I went back to my variable length,
Uh-huh.
just to have like gear continuity. So that's another thing about YouTube, right? When you post, everyone think it's a linear posting of when you
Yeah.
record and when you post. But no, like I inserted the Scotty Cameron video earlier because it's a hotter item, right? The Scotty Cameron Zero Torque. So even though it would look like a linear progression, the Scotty Cameron Zero Torque was a lot more recent than, let's say, my last week's video.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, so it's kind of a hard balance to strike. So I have a lot of different stuff in the bag, but I went back to, okay, my latest video, what did I release? I had these clubs. I'm gonna put those clubs back in the bag and focus on the putter, so no one asks questions about my other components that
That
I'm
makes sense.
playing with. Yeah,
That
yeah,
makes
yeah.
sense. How do you decide when you're going out to play a round? Like, say you're not, well, first of all, here's a question. How many, like let's say you play 3 rounds in a week, how many are you recording and how many are you just going out and playing?
So usually, I when I go out to play, I'm always recording, but I
Okay.
only get to play at maybe usually just try to play like once a week. Um, so yeah, I used to be able to do multiple rounds in a weekend, and then that would give me like a month's worth of content because if I
Mhm.
do 3 or 4 rounds in a weekend, that's 4 weeks of posting, right? But now it's like once a week, record once a week, and
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
pretty much it. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I noticed, like, I think it was 2 weeks ago, maybe it was, that you had one video, but it was 2 rounds, like
Oh yeah,
in the
yeah.
same day, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So,
So like I could have stretched that out to 2 weeks, but I was like, I don't think it's compelling enough. So I just
let's just do it.
crushed them in a single video,
Yeah, I do
So
have questions
yeah.
for you later about, like, how on earth you have a backlog of stuff, because like, to me, I record it and I immediately want to jump into editing because I enjoy the editing process. But um, so I don't think I asked the question. How do you decide on any given round when you're going out whether you're going to play the variable length bag or the single length bag?
That's a great question. Right now, I've just been focusing on variable length because of the continuity.
Yeah.
But I think it just comes down to, what I'm more comfortable with at that time.
Okay.
I haven't had to come to that crossroad yet because it's been all variable length so far. In these past couple rounds, but there'll be a decision where I think I'm gonna make a video where I play both in 36 holes kind of
Just
thing.
play, or
I'll
or make a video where you play 18 and switch between the same
And
shot.
9. Yeah, or
Yeah.
same shot. Yeah, something like that, yeah.
Play a
Sydney
scramble
Ray
with
says
yourself.
hi. What's up, Sydney Ray?
Yeah. Hey,
Play a
Sydney.
mixed bag of single length and variable length. Yeah, so I have done that AT885 where I, had single length irons from 6 iron to pitching wedge, gap wedge, sand wedge, and lob wedge were variable length. And then my hybrids, I could go either way, one length or variable length hybrids. So I've been testing different setups with that, with mixed and everything. And I think for one length, I do like the hybrids quite a bit, but I
Yeah.
don't like the scoring clubs like the sand wedge, gap wedge, and lob wedge.
Are they
So
long?
I
Are they
Yeah, they're
longer
long.
than?
They're
Okay.
longer. Yeah.
Okay.
And for some people who are like super good with their 7 iron, like that could work. But for me, like I'm, just average, right? So having a 7-iron at a gap wedge length, it kind of introduced too many variables, like I were talking about variables, to where I
Yep.
couldn't just hit it 100 yards straight onto the green. I would like duff it, I would blade it, just like how a 7-iron, you're hitting a 150 shot plus into the green, or however far you hit
Yeah,
your
whatever it
7-iron,
is.
you're
Yeah.
not gonna hit it flush middle every time. So like having that in your scoring wedges wasn't the best for me, so I went back to variable length in the wedges. But having a 7-iron length 3 hybrid, pretty nice.
I
It's just like
I can see that. I can see
yeah.
that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That I in so many of your videos from, like, I think it's probably around last year, you kept referring to, "Oh, I'm gonna hit my single length hybrid." And
Yeah.
the question that constantly came up in my mind every time you said that was, "Well, single length to what? Is it the same length as your 7-iron? It's the same length as all your irons? Is that what it is?"
It is, yeah, yeah. So it's
Okay.
basically a super easy, how like Wilson or Cleveland have like the thick iron, the
Yeah.
irons that look like hybrids? It's
Yep.
basically that, but like for more, it's like more club head speed. Yeah, it gives you more
Okay.
distance than those,
Okay.
in my opinion. So really easy to hit 3 iron, 4-iron, 5-iron as hybrids. Sign me up.
Okay.
And
So
that's why I
really,
think one link is good. One link is
yeah.
good for that.
So the answer to the question, really, like how you decide whether it's one length or variable length on any given round, is really tied to your content strategy, right? Which is continuity and whatever you're doing at the moment on your channel and keeping it continuous with whatever's in your bag.
Yeah, pretty much. And
Okay.
like for the most part, the channel reflects on where I'm at with my game anyway.
Mhm.
But like I said, right now it's a kind of a struggle with the putters. Like I thought there was some clear favorites, but I keep, trying to keep the content fresh, I guess you could say, with other, pieces of equipment that I bring in. But I know it probably fatigues on the people who watch me. They're like, "Oh, why are you buying another putter? This is kind of annoying. Like you keep switching and like you're wasting so much money on putters and stuff," which I get too, like people want to see relatable me, go around on a course, but that also that was like,
Like,
the cash cow kind of thing, right? Those are the ones that people would keep watching me for. But, I could, given that this is not, a full-time thing or anything, the courses that I can play in, are pretty limited in terms of not limited because there's so many in the Bay Area, but I've played them
a
all.
lot.
Yeah, I've like
Yeah.
played them all except for like a couple. So
I
I don't know
think the
how many
way I
times
think
yeah.
Yeah, I think the way that you do it, though, the fact that you're taking it on course, you're not in a studio, you're not on a putting mat, you're on course, and it's usually a different course. And even if it's a course that you've played and posted before, or 10 times before, it doesn't matter because that always kind of feels new and fresh. And I don't think that, in terms of from the creator perspective, posting videos, you may think of things as linear, but that's not necessarily the way that your audience is coming to you. They're not watching it always in a linear fashion. And so they're just maybe just clicking on the video. And it's to them,
Yeah.
it's, dude, this guy's got a pretty sweet new putter. Let's see how he plays with it. And that's what I've never seen before. That's awesome. Right. So it's like everything is, and actually I had a question previously. I deleted it because I'm like, that's not a very good question. And it was a question about series, like YouTube creators that do series. And do they really think, outside of maybe a small hardcore group of their own subscribers, do they really think that people follow the series and know where they're at in whatever they're trying to show on the progression? And I think that kind of gets to it, right? With the putter thing. I love the way you do it. And I give you a hard time. I give the guys a hard time in the Discord all the time about, gear switches and constantly buying
Yeah.
putters. But there's nothing wrong with the way that you present that on YouTube. And it actually does keep it fresh because it's a different course. It's on course. It's a different course. And you don't know where the viewer is coming to you from, what they've seen in advance of that, right?
Yeah, definitely. And in terms of yeah, definitely
Gas.
all yeah,
I was
gas.
messing with gas.
It's
Yeah.
definitely a lot of hobbies and interests of everyone who's in like a hobby that has a lot of items you can purchase. Always leans into gas. That's for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
Musicians,
Yeah.
all these other like but anyways, to answer your question on the do people like watch this series? I think for bigger content creators that they definitely do. So like, the Break 80 series by Bob the Sports.
Yeah.
Everyone was invested in Trent Ryan and
Trent
his,
Ryan, yeah.
breaking 100. Breaking 100 was like a huge thing. Even the pros were like getting behind it, and cheering him
That's
on.
just
So
crazy.
yeah, it does. And I try like because I don't do this full time, I try to stay away from series because, and I've talked about this in Discord, like it's especially golf. Golf is very like cruel sometimes, and you sometimes you're not gonna be able to achieve your goal because golf is that hard, you know.
Yeah.
So like to say, oh yeah, I want to break scratch in like a year or you know become scratch golfer. I like unless you really want it. First of all, you may or may not be able to do it, and then you know some people just aren't meant to break scratch. You know,
Yeah. Even if you
myself
really
included.
want it, right? Even if
Yeah.
you really
Oh
want it,
yeah.
and I think all the time about chasing scratch guys. They have all the resources in the world, and they've had all the, like world class coaches give them awesome advice and tell them how to do it, and they haven't done it. First of all, they don't follow the advice. That's probably what's driving that. But yeah, it's not an easy thing. So I get it. I think it's probably smart. How would you describe your content strategy? Like I think you have a pretty big mix, right? Of course vlogs, product reviews. You've done like lesson vlogs, podcasts, all that kind of stuff. Do you have a strategy? What is it? What's your approach?
No, that's a good question. So, you know, and it's changed slightly from in the beginning, but it's kind of the same. It's like, firstly, it started off with just going to a course and showing it off how I play it as a mid handicap golfer. That's like the bread and butter of the channel. You know, people see me play on a course and they want to scout out a course. And that's what I did since the very beginning. Right. And so, you know, it's before I had more time to do I have you know, more time to film stuff during the week now because of, you know, some career stuff that had changed for me, but
Hmm.
before I could only golf on weekends and, you know, I could only play once a week, so I didn't have, like, a backlog to edit, so I was just basically my content was strategy was, like, go play on a weekend and, you know, be able to have a video out by Monday, uh, and keep it up in terms of just recording and posting, right? And
Yeah.
then now that I have more time, I can still do that recording and posting, but then slip in a new type of video, like, on a Friday, you know, like, trying to you know, course food or something, or, you
Yeah.
know, I think everyone has like their cash cow kind of thing that they post. And then they try to test the algorithm with like different pieces of content that you create to see if
Yep.
it catches and you can add more or, you know, less time to that new idea
Yeah.
and to see if it's worth putting more time into. So I
That's
think
how I
that's
look at
what
it as like you build a scaffold, right? The scaffold of your channel is sort of your course vlogs, and then you just add things and see if they work, see what takes off, see what doesn't work, see what sort of drives you in a direction that you want to go.
Yeah. And, you know, and the problem with it for all creators, you know, any genre or that don't lean itself well to repeatability and consistency, it's hard to be creative and keep on releasing stuff that people want to see. You know,
Mhm.
like, you know, eventually, you know, for me, I'm very well that there's a finite amount of golf courses to play within like, you know, an hour driving distance, you know. So I'm gonna run out of courses to play. So that's where, you know, I'm supplementing it now with, you know, club reviews, right?
Yeah.
Supplementing it now with something because eventually, you know, people it's like, oh yeah, he's played, you know, San Jose Muni for the nth time. They're not gonna watch, right? So not that I'm worried about that because it's not like a full-time thing, but if I did that as a full time, it would really weigh on me like how to keep things fresh, right? You
Yeah.
know, how to
Yeah.
keep, you know, people coming back to continue to watch because you know and I'm well aware it's like it's you have to think about is it worth watching or not, you know, because people who dedicate time to watching your stuff long form you know is I'm very thankful for people who actually click on my stuff, you know,
Yeah.
it's like
Yep.
as opposed to you know the doom scrolling of IG or TikTok where people get a ton of views there. I mean that the whole mental around that is different because you're fed stuff, right? And you
Yeah.
choose to stay on it. But like
There's
YouTube and
little
long
investment.
form,
There's no investment in it really.
yeah, exactly. And YouTube is a conscious decision to click on someone's video because you want to watch that. And so you have
Yeah.
to be really cognizant of that and you know, empathetic of the fact that people are willing to spend like 5 to 10 minutes consciously selecting your stuff to watch. And so I am very appreciative of my subscribers and my Discord member or you know community and everything like that. Um, yeah, I don't want to lose sight of something like that for sure.
Yeah. I don't know that you give yourself enough credit that like I don't mind watching you play San Jose Muni multiple times
Sure.
because Because I do see progression, I do see improvement, and so it's fun to see that. It's fun to see like, wow, he's playing a lot better than he did in previous videos. First of all, hi Chip, good to see you. Um, so I struggle with the same thing. I'm a member of the club, and so I kind of I don't look at it as, well, I better play X amount of times to make my break even or whatever. I just don't think about it that way. But I do play that club way more than I play anything else. I started my channel thinking I'm going to golf all these courses in Oregon. Oregon's got these great courses, and hardly anybody has shown a lot of the courses in Oregon. And it just doesn't work out that way. It's like California. It's a big state. They're
Yeah.
away, and it just doesn't work schedule wise. Um, so I end up just constantly recording at my course, and I'm like, man, it's like, okay, I'm just going to show the front nine again or show the back nine. Fortunately, the course looks way different. We have 4 very distinct seasons, and so it kind of it does change a little bit. But I struggle with the same kind of question, like, why am I recording the same course again? And
Right, right.
like, what makes it, would saying I'm only going to play this with 3 clubs actually make it fresh? I don't think so, but whatever. That's neither here nor there. I I'm curious for you. What do you think? So to keep your regular posting schedule, that requires a lot of work. I know what goes into that. Um, how many hours a week do you think you average on video production outside of actual recording of the round?
Probably like per video, it's probably like a work day, like an 8-hour work day.
Yeah.
So but I like, I try to I've kind of work on multiple videos simultaneously because one part of the process is a little bit easier than the other. It's like less taxing, so I can kind of multitask. The
Uh-huh.
slowest part by far is the shot tracers, and I mean, what the Soft Tracer Pro software is already a shortcut,
Yeah.
but that still takes a long time. And I don't, yeah, that's unfortunately, not unfortunately, but like we're in a society where we want the instant gratification of easy DI, easy, one click button and it's magic and it's there. Like even Shot Tracer Pro takes a while. It's not perfect, but
Mhm.
you just got to put the work in, right? Like, and I have a pretty good, Mac Studio or whatever to do all that stuff, but it takes a while. But I can like throw all my files into the timeline and cut them real quickly. That's not a problem. And so like what I'll do is, because I know that's like less intensive, I'll just like have like 4 different videos ready, spliced up, waiting to do my shot tracers. And then when I have more time to like sit down and like really focus, then I'll move to the shot tracer part. And then I'll move those shot tracers back into the timeline. Then
Yeah.
I loathe the voiceovers and thumbnails. And yeah. Those 2 parts. Thumbnail, I don't spend too much time, but like voiceovers, I just like, I'm not a huge fan of doing that. And
Yeah.
then yeah, like basically per video, it's like a full work day to get one done outside
Yeah.
of, in addition to the time takes to record on course. So like 4 hours
Yeah.
on course, but then a full work day to get it done end to end, like
Yeah, I
8
don't think I've
hours.
ever really like fully tracked it, but I think that sounds about right to me. Um, and I probably do it a different sequence. I think I do shot tracers first because I just want them out of the way, and I want to be able to dump my files, my video files, into my timeline with the shot tracers already, and then make all the edits in, just kind of in that sequence. But I'm with you on thumbnails. I hate doing thumbnails. It's supposed to be like one of the most important parts, but I can't stand doing them. I So yeah, my next question was, do you have anyone helping? Which I know you don't. It's just you. And would you ever consider it? And if so, what would be the first thing that you would farm out? Would it be shot tracers or thumbnails?
That's a good question. Like, if I could have someone do everything, that'd be awesome. Thumbnails, I could probably just do on my own. Like that. I don't think that's a worthy ROI on, because I don't spend a ton of time on them.
Yeah,
But yeah, just the editing itself, I would probably farm out. Like if I could pay someone to do it, and that's like reasonable, then maybe I would look into that. But the problem is that you create your own videos, you probably are particular in some of the things that you do. So I'd be particular in some of the things that I want to do as well.
yeah,
But yeah, but like that being said, like if you get someone that's good, maybe they'll elevate your stuff, right?
yeah. And I
So
would think that they would learn kind of what your preferences are.
yeah, of course. And I think that's a healthy relationship for full-time content creators that farm out their stuff, is that, they eventually build up enough trust and rapport with their editors to where they don't even have to worry about it, right? Maybe they'll watch it once
Yeah.
and then sign off on it. But if they can build, that's like the key golden relationship for like full-time people, I bet. But like I mean, they cost a lot of money. That's not
Yep.
that's something that's not gonna be cheap, right? So
You're starting to see more and more popping up in the big channels. They'll during the round, right, on the course, be throwing out comments to the editors, right? Uh, Put in whatever here, and now the editors are keeping those comments in and then doing whatever it is they ask. I just noticed that a bunch. It just kind of
sure.
pops up here and there, and I'm like, man, it must be so nice to just have an editor and you just throw everything to them and say, make it look make it look good. Um, Paul has a question: thumbnail after video is edited. Do you do the
I,
thumbnails after or before?
I do it after, yeah. And then like once I finish editing video and I upload it, I go back to Final Cut and I just look for like a screen capture that would look good, or like me in like a this kind of pose, and as
Yeah,
much as I dislike that. And then yeah, I start like putting clips into Canva, editing it, and uh trying to see if you know what others are doing as well. I always try to look at, you always have to kind of see what everyone else is posting too. Play the game,
yeah,
right? So like
yeah,
what's good posting? How's Luke Kwan making, thumbnails? Like how are everyone else doing thumbnails? And so you kind of want to get elements from that, implement into your own, but then maybe try to put your own spin on it as well. So
yeah.
yeah, after the video.
You have some good screen captures. I think I'm waiting for the thumbnail to come out. You probably used it on the short with you falling down in the bunker. I think that's
Yeah.
a very highly reusable thumbnail and little clip that you have there.
Yeah, that was a fun one for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, that was good. That was good. Okay, so part of what I do, my prep for doing these, is go back and go through catalogs or go through your backlog, right? Go through
Sure.
all of your old videos and stuff like that. And I noticed. So if we talked a little bit about this, but of your most watched videos, the top 10, 8 of those are packaged as product reviews, and you do them on the course, right? They're not in studio. I think the two outliers are is a newer one, right? The new Poppy Ridge and then Royal Hawaiian. I think those are both actually fairly new. Those are the outliers. But that top 10, would you ever consider going to just straight review style channel? The Breaking 80, the let's play through kind of deal.
Uh
If you want to play the game, I guess is what I'm saying.
like oh yeah, so I guess there's like, to answer your question, there's like buckets of in the golf sphere, like types of channels. There's like generalists. I think I'm more generalist, but
Mhm.
then there's like the full-blown talking head product reviews. Then there's the swing coaching reviews ones, and then there's like the good type ones, right? And I
Yep.
don't know, like the gear review, product review segment doesn't really interest me. And like it's already so saturated that I don't know if I could put a good enough personal touch on it to stand out and to break through per se. So I like and then a lot of that is like, definitely not to say that they do, but you definitely got to sell your soul and play the game like we
Yeah.
talked about earlier, where like, hey, manufacturer, can you give me your product before release so I can have something by embargo time to put out so I can be competitive with the views on release day or on embargo day. And I don't know, think I want to deal with that.
Yeah.
Um, Not to say that people do it disingenuously, but like that game is a whole nother thing. If I wanted to be in that, I would probably um spin off another, like make another channel
A
or
different
something like
channel.
that.
Yeah, that was my
Yeah.
thought, is like that the product review guys, eventually you get to a point where if you want to be successful in that space, it's about your relationships with the manufacturers that are putting out the products. And there's probably a lot of financial reward there in terms of
Oh yeah.
affiliate programs and all of that, outside of just ad revenue and growing your channel. Probably way more than your ad revenue and that whatnot. But I don't know if that's really kind of worth it. And I'm kind of glad that you're not going that direction, because I like your generalist approach. I actually had made a note. I was going back to. I forgot you'd done this video. I think it might have been the one of the first videos of yours that I ever saw. And I think I clicked on it because it made me laugh, the thumbnail. And I was like, holy shit, this guy's awesome. He's out on the course actually doing this. It's when you went and you played around wearing the G box.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I think that's one of my most viewed videos actually. Is that the
Oh,
most viewed?
I no, I don't think it is. You're
It's
one of your most
close. If not,
yeah,
yeah.
it's up there, one of your most viewed. I think might be a putter review. It is an equipment review. But I remember just laughing so hard because I'm like, dude, this guy has this no shame. This is awesome. He's out there wearing what looks like a life preserver or
Yeah, yeah.
like water wings playing. Did the G box work by the way?
It does have its merits for sure to like I'm like all arms as I'm too lazy to turn back and have good flexibility, but
Yeah,
it does work in terms of like getting you to actually focus on your turn back. Like so to give context into that, when I was super hardcore, that was like at a very early tee time. So San Jose Muni has a back nine thing where you can go off, and if you're the first off, it's first come first serve for the back nine. And so
sure.
that's when I did it. It was like super cold. Had to get up super early, like get up at 5:30, get there at 6 or something to tee off by like really early in the morning. So yeah, those were the kind of things before this like latest schedule that I have in my work that I had to do to
To
film
get it.
content and to have something to post on on Mondays kind of thing.
Yeah. So, so many you talk about like Bay Area courses, so much of your course content really is covering Bay Area courses because that's where you're at. Um, which do you consider your home course and how would you describe that course?
Probably the one I've played the most is San Jose Muni. Yeah, that's the
Mhm.
one that, even before the channel would go with, some of my friends to play after work or, get off work a little early and play some 9-hole golf, afterwards. And played there definitely the most. So some of my friends, we would have like a little group that would just, hey, you guys free? And we'd be like, okay, yeah. And then we would just
Yeah.
go. So that's definitely like my home course. And I actually do enjoy it. The conditions of the course really vary if there's, like, enough rain. They don't really
Mhm.
water it all that much. So when it rains a lot and it dries out and it's, like, really nice and they can actually have grass to mow, the conditions are good, and the layout is interesting enough, and it's, like,
Yeah.
not the most difficult course, so it's kind of fun in that regard. So that's kind of my home course.
Okay. Yeah. What do you have sort of so like I spent 7 years in the Bay Area and I didn't golf a whole lot at that time and I was absolutely terrible. I was transitioning from a right-handed golfer to a left-handed golfer.
Okay.
Um, do you have I would call it like sort of a guilty pleasure course, one that gets hate or people look down on it, look down their nose at it, but you just love playing?
That's a great question. I think for me, I don't really have a course where I go and where I'm like, "Oh, that's I'll never go there again." Usually I go into a course with the correct expectations, but it's the ones that catch me off guard with their conditions that kind of put me off a little bit. So, the only course that I've played recently was Pajero or Pajaro in
Yeah.
Watsonville.
Yep, I saw
Like,
that.
that was unfortunately pretty bad. Like, I thought, "Okay, yeah," after the first green, I was like, "Oh, it's a little bumpy, a little dry and dead." You know, okay, that's fine. But then I start playing through the round, and it was pretty bad. And and the problem is that they were charging quite a bit for it.
That's what gets me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So, but normally when I play a course and I see that it's not rated well, I know it's not gonna be the most beautiful course ever. So I just go into it, and I have the added like ulterior motive to shoot content for it. So
Mhm.
I can always go into it thinking, okay, at least I'll get something out of it. But I understand for the everyday weekend warrior, if they go to a course and it's in crap condition, and that's what they're there to do is play golf and enjoy the course. I can see how they get shortchanged and would leave a bad taste in their mouth. But
Sure.
generally, I'm a very positive guy, and I can see the positive in most any course as long as I'm out playing and and I'm having a good time with the people I'm with. That's what matters to me. Yeah.
Yeah, I would probably play on a parking lot if they called it a golf course and charge me a reasonable rate to do it. And I think what gets me is I can accept crummy conditions as long as the course accepts that they have crummy conditions and they're going to price accordingly. I'm
Yeah.
totally fine with it. It's when they just have unrealistic alignment between course conditions and prices that it's just sort of like, come on, what are we doing here? I love golf and I love just hitting the ball, but this is not is not appropriate. This,
Right. Yeah. And there are some courses now that are kind of getting away with it. They're letting some of the conditions go, and Yeah, it's very evident if they're not getting tee times booked up, because if you're a good course, you're not gonna have any
Yeah.
problem filling your tee sheet on a weekend. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the ones that I've seen who don't tend to align course conditions with pricing are the ones who are on their way to closure anyways. And it only exacerbates it because people come out and try and give it a shot. And then they've got, you know, horrible conditions, but they're still charging full price. But,
Yeah.
speaking of sort of the good courses, the good conditions, well, here, Paul says, what's the best value in the Bay Area? What's the best golf value in the Bay Area, in your opinion?
Depending what if you're looking just to play golf on a decent course with decent conditions at a good price, I would say Spring Valley. So if for all you Bay Area people, that's the one in Milpitas, not Summit Point Bayview, it's Spring Valley, which I think right now during the week is like sub $60 to walk, and that's like pretty competitive in the Bay Area. Like right now, like on weekends, you're gonna be playing 75 to plus just to walk, and then if it's a car, it's another 20 or so kind of thing. So it's getting close to like almost all the courses are starting to get to that triple digit price
Because
if
they
they're not
can. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
because they can, and if they
It's
haven't
expensive
breached
to
yeah, if
run.
they haven't breached that price, then they're about too soon. Yeah,
Yeah, and my
about too soon.
recollection is there's never really a bad time of year for or a time of year where it's, like, really bad weather in Milpitas.
Right, they don't have, like, winter rates or summer rates
Yeah.
because it's tepid winter, all
Yep,
the time.
yep.
Yeah, yeah.
What's sort of your list of Bay Area dream courses that you'll likely never get to never get a look at? I'm thinking like, like the Cypress Points, I
In the
maybe
Bay Area,
Olympic.
probably Cal Country Club
Okay,
and Lake Merced. Those are,
okay.
basically the 2 SF ones.
Yeah,
Um, I have been fortunate enough, to play multiple country clubs and some nice clubs, and, thanks to those who have, gotten me on, the channel has provided those kind of opportunities for sure.
sure.
Yeah, so very grateful to those who have, gotten me onto those kind of courses that have some exclusivity. I'm very, aware that it's not something that just the normal person can do and get access to. So that's another cool thing that the channel has, provided is like opportunity to connect with people and then also play some pretty darn cool courses as well.
Yeah, I echo that, right? I mean, my channel is really small, and one of the reasons I do it is one is just a hobby, and I enjoy it. But also, it is about connection, and that's really what these live streams are about: is the connection with other creators. And in that vein, I've been a member of your Discord for actually I think maybe just a year, maybe a little bit over a year. I'm kind of curious, what's the origin story of the Discord? So for those who don't know, Matt's channel, he's got a Parfection Discord, and there's what, like 400 or 500 members in there now, super active, right? A very active Discord. But what was the origin story? Why'd you start it? Sort of, has it met your expectations? How do you use it to build connection and community on your channel?
Yeah, that's a great question. Let's see. I don't know if I could. Yeah, so like a little over 400 members, but
Okay.
only active. A handful of people are active. But it was basically following the trend of what all the other YouTubers are doing. Is like starting a Discord community. Like and like it's not unique to me. Like I've had joined other Discord communities from YouTube that of interests or of YouTubers that I was interested in, and
Mhm.
I saw kind of like, oh yeah, this is kind of a cool thing, where you can go in and talk and participate and talk about topics that you're interested in, and then you find a community that you can go to. So I mean, yeah, I think that's what kind of makes it for me is like the Discord community. So shout out to them. It's just kind of cool to have like people to talk to about golf, or
Yeah.
even random things. Like we don't always talk about golf. We talk about sports. We talk about
Yeah.
a bunch of random stuff.
A lot of random
But
stuff.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I think I was just copying what I've experienced in other interests that I had in terms of YouTubers, I guess, having their own Discord channel. So I
Yeah,
saw that there was a benefit. I want to kind of emulate that as
yeah,
well.
I think you've done an awesome job at that. I'll just kudos to that because it's a great Discord. I have a lot of fun in there. Um, and it is fun for me to see to see members popping up in your videos, even though it's not a, you don't necessarily name them. It's golf. This round is with some Discord members, and figuring out who they are. It's always kind of fun
Sure.
to tie it back to, the tea time thread and who decided who signed up to go to that tea time and then they show up in the video is always kind of cool. But that's
Yeah.
neat. I do appreciate that aspect. It's like an extra dimension to your channel and it complements it nicely. I think it's a really fantastic Discord.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
kudos to you on that. Speaking of sort of the community, and I'm again, we're at what, 55 minutes, all right? So I try to keep this generally to an hour. I still have tons of questions, but I'm definitely not going to get to them. Two things that I
Okay, no, yeah, sure.
two things that I did definitely want to ask you about. One is one of my favorite things ever was seeing you randomly pop up in the background of Adam, not a scratch golfer's videos,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
and then vice versa. So my question is, how did that relationship come about? Speaking of relationships and community building,
Yeah.
YouTube, how did that come about?
That's a great question. And we can go, I mean, I'm good to go over like 30
Okay,
minutes or so if you want.
okay,
But
cool.
yeah, in terms of not a scratch golfer, first of all, Adam is a super nice stand-up guy, you know. In terms of playing with him, I think he asked if either I think he emailed me or he said to email him on his YouTube channel if you want to play golf or something. This was a while back. You could do community posts on YouTube.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
um, I emailed him or something, or he emailed me, and we were talking about Sharp Park. That was like the first time we kind of interacted, and I was like, "Yeah, let's just play together." And so we kind of just established that connection. And you know, the thing about people wanting to interact or something or hang out, they're kind of looking to not everyone, but like when they contact at least me, they want to like be in a video and shoot a video, you know.
yeah,
And
yeah.
like that's not the first thing I want to do with some stranger that kind of contacts me. So I didn't want to be like that. I said, "Hey, you know, I saw that you posted or something." And I'm just recollecting, you know, bits and pieces of it. But somehow we ended up playing Sharp Park, and I told him, "Yeah, I'm gonna film my own thing. You can film your thing, but you know, we don't have to collab or anything. I just want to, you know, just play a round together." And so after that, we started hitting it off, and like, you know, if he was visiting the Bay, he would let me know, and we would try to play. And we never really collabed on anything. We kind of just played
Yeah,
golf together. So
yeah,
um, there was some points where, you know, I had like a Dukes Club membership in Monterey, and so we would try to get discounted tea times and coordinate, you know, trips down there for him to do, you know, so he could film at Spanish or Spy, right, and I could film at the same time. And so that's kind of, you know, I can say, like, I can text him and get a response, you know, kinda thing. That's kind of at the
yeah,
level we're at, but I'm not texting him all the time, but
sure.
be like, "Hey, Adam, you know, it's been a while since you posted, you know, I hope everything's okay." Sometimes I check in on him, you know, because you know, it's kind of not strange, but, like, it's weird to see when YouTubers start just not post that anywhere. For
Yeah,
people who I care about, I get kinda concerned. I'm like, "Oh, is this person okay?" So, you know, sometimes I'm like, "Oh, yeah, Adam, like, hope everything's okay." And he's like, "Oh, yeah, he's just traveling the world or something, or going to Thailand or something." But, yeah, it was just, like, on a whim, decided to play golf together with no expectations on filming or collabing or anything, just
sure.
wanted to hang out. And then
That was
now
one of
that's
the
kind of yeah, yeah.
that was one of the other questions that I'd written before and then deleted. I'm like, it's not a good question, but it's really
Oh,
more for my own personal interest and probably other creators if they're watching this. Which is, I had asked you, I think you and I through the Discord probably had shared some messages back and forth about collaborations, and you kind of mentioned some of this stuff here. Is that like it's just so much work, and that's usually the first thing people are asking when they ask about golfing with you is collaborations, and you haven't done a lot of them, and you
yeah.
haven't done an actual technical collaboration with Adam. So what are kind of your practical thoughts on that? I know your advice that you shared with me was like they're a lot of work, right?
Yeah.
They're way more work usually than what you get out of it, maybe. But so what are your kind of thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, like, I think what a lot of people, when they think they wanna, you know, at least be in a video that they're not creators themselves, I don't think they understand the gravitas of just being like, "Hey, I wanna be in your video," you know? And I understand, like, they just see it because the great product that and the great content that gets created out there,
Mhm.
people don't realize how difficult it is, right? It's there's so much good content, maybe people think it doesn't take that much work. But yeah, so for me, for collaboration, it like I think we talked a little about this a little bit. It has to be like a at least a 70-30 split in terms of net benefit. You know what I'm
Mhm.
trying to say? So like,
Yep.
you know, when Bryson collabs with people, he's not collaborating with someone like me. That would be, you know, 99.99% benefit to me, but only 0.001% benefit to him, right?
Yeah.
So like, you kind of have to firstly, find a medium, like, who stands to benefit. And it's that's kind of putting it not in the best light because it seems very transactional. But in
No,
terms of
it makes
yeah,
sense.
yeah, but in terms of like time, which is the most valuable thing for content creator and everyone, like collaborations and creating content that's not your bread and butter takes way more time. So like,
Yeah.
an 8-hour video for me is like, my standard. But if I do a collab, you're doing 8 hours plus another how much time to create something else. It could be like a huge time sink and then it might not do well. So that's always a risk as well.
Yeah, well, Paul just pointed out multiple shot tracers are a nightmare
Yeah,
because I
multiple
know
shot
he's
tracers.
done like multiple scrambles, 4 guys, and he's showing every shot tracer. That's Paul.
You're the man, Paul. You know how it is, right? So yeah, and to that point, like I did that TPC Monterey scramble. That like took me forever, and it didn't get that many views. But I just did it because the guys that I were with were pretty chill, and I took it as a challenge. But
Yeah.
that took a while, and I had like mics with 4 audio, 4 channel audio.
Okay.
So I bought something new just for that to try it out. Um, so that's not even technically a collab because when you think about collabs too, like who edits what, like who's going to put the work in, right? So that one I went into it fully knowing I was going to record all the footage, I was going to do all the work and edit everything, and it took me a long time. But yeah, like when people say, oh, we should collab, it's just like, okay, are you going to edit it? Are you going to film it? Do I have to film it? Do you
Yeah.
like who's going to, how do I even upload the files to you? I don't even know how to do that,
Right.
like
I'm on a
so
Mac,
there's
you're on a PC.
yeah, there's just so many elements to go because once you get, and I'm sure you get into this now, the latest trendy things like flow state, or you get into a flow when you're editing, right? Like
Mhm.
once, but like if you collab, like it totally interrupts that. Like you don't know what to do, right? Kind of thing. And so,
Yeah.
um, I would be down to do collaborations, and I'll go out of my way if it's someone who I personally know and who's made the effort, right? Like it,
Well,
like
Matt,
the whole
this
split
is a
thing.
this is a collaboration, right? And I just
Yeah,
did some
sure.
quick math in my head, and in this collaboration, um, I'm you and you're Bryson.
No, 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 none of
Right? Like
that.
if I do the math, that's really kind of how this one works out for me. But whatever. This is, I don't want to say low effort because it's not that I don't put any effort into it. I actually do a lot of prep
No,
work and
no,
put
you've
together
definitely
questions and stuff like
prepped.
that. Try to come prepared, and I want to make I want the people that come on and meet with me, take the time to sit down and talk to me. I want them to shine, right? And so, in order to do that, I got to do some prep work. It's
No,
not just show up and talk.
and I think you being cognizant of that fact, you're already like ahead of like a lot of people who would try to get into this space. People just like, oh, we should do a podcast. And then they just hop onto these videos. They don't have an agenda. They just kind of talk in circles. And it's like, what's the purpose of this episode?
Yeah,
So you doing that work is already, in my mind, putting you above a lot of other people that kind of just like, let's start a podcast.
yeah.
You're
Well,
taking
thank
the
you.
effort. Yeah, no, that and so, and plus you're, yeah, I don't like thinking about it as, me being bigger or you whatever, because the fact that you're a part of the community and, have been a longstanding member, and I know you personally, and I know you took the time, that never in my mind was I thinking, oh, I'm not getting anything out of this because it's worth the relationship that we've built kind of thing,
Yeah,
like in through Discord or through, this whole golf channel, right? Kind of
yeah,
thing. So,
yeah.
but I'm talking about like some random person in my
Sure.
comments, let's have a match. We should film it. I'm like, dude, do you even know what that entails?
You
Like, how
don't you
much?
don't know what that entails. You don't bring anything to the table. I worked in a previous life. I worked in the marketing for a craft brewer here in Oregon, and people wanted to collaborate with us all the
Sure.
time. And that was literally the first question: is we have a literal. So it was Rogue, right? They just declared bankruptcy, unfortunately, but it
Oh,
was Rogue,
really?
and it was at that time. This was like 2013, right? Peak craft beer, and it's like we have an international brand. You've been in business 6 months, up in Oregon here, turning pieces of wood into like nutcrackers or something, right? Artisanal nutcrackers. What possibly do you bring to the table here
Right, right,
that's
right.
worth it for us? Do you know what it takes to create a custom one-off beer and bottle and everything else that goes with it? No, not gonna happen. Not gonna happen.
Yeah.
So I
So
get that. It makes perfect sense.
yeah, so if I were to collab and actively, say like take a shot at like, an LPGA player, I'm not just gonna go into a comment on a piece of content, let's collab. I'm gonna go to them, maybe email them, say, hey, look, I do these videos. I can come prepared. All you have to do is show up and play a scramble with me. And this is like what we're intended on doing. I'll have mics, one camera, blah, blah, blah. I would come super prepared, knowing that, okay, this person that I'm creating with, this is what I'm bringing to the table. This is my idea. However, also open to if they create, content as well. How do we integrate with their channel
Sure.
kind of thing or their content, and then show that you really put in effort more than just saying, "Hey, let's collab," kind of thing. Because
Yeah.
because you and I, we know how much effort and work it takes.
Yeah.
So yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I think I heard you say it might have been like in your "Thank you, I hit 1,000 subscribers" video, or
Okay.
that was a podcast. I can't remember. Did you initially start with a car, like a tuner channel?
Yeah, so not just like creating content, I had
Yeah,
like my personal, so I actually don't watch any YouTube on my golf channel account. I have like my personal Gmail that
sure.
I watch stuff. But back in the day, I used to post car videos in terms of me
Okay,
going to the track, me, working on my car, wrenching on my car. So I had editing skills prior to the golf channel, which transferred quite well because even learning how to edit timeline editor takes a while. So or it takes a while to build up that skill. So I already had that skill built up. Um, yeah, so it was all cars and stuff, and I had Adobe Premiere for free because I used to work for Adobe.
for
That was
Adobe,
one of my
yeah.
previous employers. So I had all this experience with editing and everything. So that's the thing. If you want to start a channel in these days, you need to know how to edit. You can use, I mean, and there's a ton of ways to edit videos, but yeah, like that's something I already had previously doing random content creation for something different that I was passionate about at the time.
Okay. Awesome Man wants to he wants Awesome Man '09 wants to answer to the actual question, how many putters are too many?
There's never too many putters.
That's
No,
what I
I'm
thought.
just
That's what I thought the answer was. So my question about the tuner channel, about your car channel, was actually that was just a sort of a preface. Is like if I took that off the table, a car channel, and then I assume, let's take card collecting because you also do card collecting, right?
yeah, I had like a separate channel for that as
Or you
well,
have it.
but
You already have a channel. Okay. So
yeah.
so that part card. Do you have a separate channel for mukbang?
I should know like that yeah, and then it goes to down to I think I want to make a video on this, like the content strategy of just YouTube in general.
Yeah.
Like the easier a thing is to do and that people are interested in, the more saturated and difficult it is to break through,
Right.
right? Yeah, and so like mukbang or whatever, eating, that's very easy, right? Like anyone can do it, but being
Have
good
to
at
do it.
it, yeah, yeah, you have to do it, right? Literally everyone in the world could make mukbang content, right? So it's like, how can you break through on that? Very hard. Mid handicap golfer, golfing's kind of exclusive. Mid handicap, not that exclusive. But then, being able to occasionally break 80, that's a little bit more exclusive. So
Mhm.
the higher and higher you get in terms of like your skill set, this is only one facet of YouTube. Like the more unique and watchability you become in terms of what, yeah, and the more like segments that are, the more unique and like skilled you get at something, the more people are going to become interested. That's
Sure.
only one facet of it, but yeah, I'm rambling on here, but
No,
that's
no,
like
no.
a
So
like
I'll get so like there was actually a pointed question at the end of that. If I take the cars, if I take card collecting, and I take mukbang off of the table, what's the next channel that you're starting? What's the next
what's
interest
the
that
next
you?
channel? That's a great question. Maybe something like entrepreneurial, I think. Like if I were to it's more, maybe if I change a career or something and want to start my own business, I would probably try documenting that. And that
Yeah.
that exists like tenfold on
Yep.
YouTube already.
Yep.
But that's something maybe I would try to do, because I do treat this channel like a business. I don't make too much on it, but um, if I could, and this is a whole nother conversation topic, but if I could trade it one for one with my current, career, in terms of content and have the same stability as like a 9 to 5, then I
Yeah.
would heavily
Yeah.
consider it, right? But it's not at that level. But I do strive to try to get there, even
Yep.
though it's not like something that's really feasible right now.
Well, I think the key word there that a lot of people maybe don't think about is the stability aspect, because just within the last year, we've seen several changes to the YouTube algorithm and the way YouTube does business with the creators. And it never fails. They make a big change, and there's a raft of videos that come out of people like, I'm
Mm,
done, it's over, I'm done, I'm out, right? Because YouTube is unilaterally, because they can change the terms of the game, and people suddenly see their income, more than halved overnight. And I sure that can happen in the business world too, but you kind of see it coming.
yeah, it's
And
way more volatile.
YouTube doesn't telegraph, hey, we're going to release a new update to the algorithm that's going to change the way that your channel is viewed on this date. Doesn't happen that way. It
Yeah,
really doesn't.
exactly. So I think it is definitely over romanticized being a content creator. Everyone wants to do it. A lot of people don't really understand how much work it takes and like how difficult it is to actually stand out. And I feel like a lot of people can supplement, and have it as their side gig,
Mhm.
but like to actually thrive and it be lucrative and be like the 0.01% is extremely improbable.
It's very improbable. It's very
Yeah.
improbable.
Yeah.
Um, I'll switch gears here a little bit. I know, so this is another one of the topics I was hoping to get to is I know you're a big fan and follower of LPGA.
Mhm.
Couple of questions nested in that. Where did that come from? How did you get? How did that get to be the interest? And do you think LPGA today? Do you think the
Mm.
current leadership changes, have been for the good
Sure.
of the LPGA?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, yeah, I do if there's any tour I follow the most, it's the LPGA. Obviously, I just follow the 4 majors for PGA. First question, what was the first question? Not the
What,
leadership one, but
how
the
did you
oh,
how
how
did
to
the
yeah, yeah.
interest? Yeah, how did the interest in LPGA?
So honestly, it was partly Lydia Ko, and like what she was
Nice.
doing at that age. I was just like, who is this person? Like she's like super young, like phenom, like teenager. I was like, okay, this person's like winning. Like this is maybe something I should look out for. And then she started doing really well. I was like, okay, yeah, like I'm kind of enjoying following her journey. Not like I was watching, LPGA like 24/7, but she kept popping up. And then, I think on Instagram you start following some of the players and 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 what I've observed, and not as much anymore, but like LPGA players because they weren't like as followed as, maybe some of the PGA players,
Mhm.
they actually kind of a lot of them interact with each other or they kind of use Instagram in a normal person way. And so it kind of like not parasocial because that kind of gets kind of weird, but you kind of see like they're just like normal people, but they seem more real than like some
Yeah.
of the PGA athletes. So I started becoming just fan through that and then watching people progress in their career. And so I was like, oh man, LPGA is pretty cool on that. And so, I've just been a fan of just, keeping up with all the tournaments. And if there's anything local, I try to go to as well. I went to like the Triple Crown tournament 2 years ago. That's like all the nations compete in a tournament
Yeah.
kind
Yeah.
of deal. And I went to the Women's US Open at the Olympic Club that
That,
Saso
yeah,
won.
Yuka Sasa
Yeah.
one. Yeah, that
Yeah,
was a good
yeah.
one. That was awesome.
So, yeah, I was really pulling for Nasa Hataoka, but, um, yeah, so, it's just and I don't really think their games are all that relatable. I see that come up all the time, and I'm just like, yeah, they're relatable in terms the only thing is speed, but,
Yeah.
like, they're, like, laser accurate, so, and way
Yes.
better
So
putters.
relatable. So
Yeah,
relatable.
so relatable that maybe I can hit 250 and they hit 250. But,
Yeah. Yeah.
no, and I just, that's just something that I've come to just become a fan of, and I guess more recently in terms of women's sports, like the Valkyries too, WNBA team that's,
Yep.
in San Francisco Golden State, big fan of that, and they're unfortunate for better or worse, like they're better than my actual men's NBA team, the Sacramento Kings. They're garbage.
Yeah. I know.
But Valkyries have been really fun to cheer for, and it's kind of fresh and new. So, yeah, just always been, following the LPGA. In terms of the leadership right now, like there's nothing that, and I'm just gonna be harsh because I don't know all the ins and outs of what the commissioners do. But in terms of me, like they just can pass the keys to the Ferrari around, but they're not like improving the Ferrari. That it's been a pretty good growth in terms of purses and in terms of the money coming in. But I feel like, and look, I don't want to discredit. That's great. I'm sure there's a ton of work going into getting more funding for purses in the LPGA, but it's not like it's booming.
Right.
And it just culturally in the world, there's just a lot of, you know, anti, women in sports kind of thing that goes on. So, I get it. They don't play the same distances, but they're literally playing the same game. So
Yep.
like tennis too, right? Tennis has parity in pay, right? But LPGA is like they're not even close. It's like one tournament that's a normal tournament for the men's is like multiple tournaments in the women.
Mhm.
But the problem is, and then Angel Yin put it really well, is that they need people to show up to watch.
That's
You
it.
watch a tournament, on TV and there's no one there. So it's like, why? What, like so yeah, like I said, the commissioners, especially Molly Marcoux, her stint was just pretty mediocre in my opinion. This new guy, not sure what his claim to fame is, but like he keeps coming in and out of some of the social media posts, and I'm just like, okay, what's this guy actually going to do?
What's he doing?
Until I'm proven otherwise, like like Molly Marcoux, I don't like, and I'm being a harsh critic who maybe doesn't like go super deep into LPGA, but as a casual fan, I should know like what the commissioner. I should be able to see anything that the commissioner does manifest. And right now, I didn't from any commissioner.
Yeah.
Mike Wan was really good. He kind of that's what Mike Wan was the one who got the Ferrari, the
Yep.
previous commissioner. Now it's getting passed to two more owners, and it's still the same Ferrari to me. Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll
And
just put
it's
it that way.
not even putting better gas in it. I think Awesome
Yeah,
Man 09 actually says raises a point there. So LPGA would be huge if the ladies got more involved in YouTube. It's actually a good point. I can't think of. I mean, I've seen them on other people's channels, like Lydia Ko has been on.
yeah,
You talk about Lydia Ko. She's my current favorite. She's been my current favorite LPGA player for years and years. I think she's just
for sure.
amazing.
Yeah.
And I've seen her on several channels. But can you think of any off the top of your head, any pros who are really kind of going after that space?
Not really. And so I think that, them having to go to YouTube, I think is twofold. First of all, like it would help them. Yes, I think if they would start being on YouTube, but like as your profession, I don't feel like you should have to because no one else like is forcing anyone to do, YouTube to help propel their major professional support. I mean,
Yeah,
major professional sport, right? I think it would help grow it, but to have to, force them to do it to help. I'm not sure if that's the right way to do it, but I think if they were, wanting to put themselves out there, I think it would help grow the LPGA. But if I was a professional golfer and then someone came to me, like the head commissioner was like, "Hey, you should do YouTube, to help grow it," I'd be like, "Yo, bro, I'm
what are
just
you
trying to win.
doing?
I'm barely making cuts. I'm barely surviving. You want me to
Yeah,
do, YouTube and trying to make me practice, like take time away from practice, to make content. I want to just play golf professionally." But that's what makes people like Bryson or Tommy Fleetwood so incredible is
yeah,
that they're still able to win while doing YouTube at the same time, right? But they don't need that in order to grow the PGA. They're doing it to grow themselves, right? Their branding, but they're not doing it to help propel the PGA further, right? And I think it would help if the LPGA players did that, but they shouldn't have that on them to grow their, well, I don't know. Should they have the responsibility to grow their own sport? I feel like it's part player, but part commissioner that needs to really, really, help grow the LPGA overall.
I think that actually you raise a good point. So, like Bryson, I think Bryson, yes, it is personal branding and it is about his personal, you know, his personal development or personal brand. But I think that there actually is a very concerted strategy on Live, because it's Bryson, it's Phil, it's who's the other, there's like 4 or 5 guys now on Live. Like every team, basically, you can tell that there was probably some memo that went out that said, "Look, this is going to help us drive viewership. We need to get channels. You know, whoever these captains are, get your channel going. We're going to connect you to whether it's Grant Horvat or whoever, to kind of walk you through this process and get a viewership built up for you." And
Try to
I feel like those guys really are.
Live.
Like, yes, I feel like they are. Yeah, Phil uses his for his gummies and for his high flyers and all this stuff.
Coffee.
But it really, yeah, his, you name it, his offshore oil, you name it for Phil. But it is really geared towards driving viewership for Live. That's the feeling that I get for it. Neither, I don't think that's good or bad, but so I guess the point of that is that I wouldn't really have too big of a problem if there was maybe a strategy with the LPGA that said, "Hey, look, we are going to approach, for those that want to, we're going to approach our top 25 players, and we're going to put in place a sort of a content strategy for building their brands and building the LPGA brands, and we're going to put a little bit of money and resources and tools and mentorship behind this, and see if we can't drive attendance, drive viewership, drive sponsorship money, drive purses, all this other kind of stuff." Right. So that would not.
I would say Mike for next commissioner for LPGA. Boom.
Yeah. No, right.
You know, so like those ideas, you know, like I want to see something like that from the commissioner. You know, everything's like more purse money, more purse money. It's like, bro, like, okay, that's been the same story year over year. That's like inflation, you know, like it's gonna happen, right? What are you doing outside of that? And I'm like, I just don't want to discount that process. I'm sure it's difficult, but how are you gonna grow the LPGA, right? And some people are asking questions like, any females that process document the prices at LPGA, not at the LPGA level that I know of. There are some people at the Epson level that are kind of using it to supplement how difficult it is to be on Epson Tour, to try to help fund, you know, bring funds in for their journey to help afford them on their journey.
Yeah.
In terms of Liv owning Bryson's channel, I read something about that. I'm not sure what the whole stipulations around Bryson's YouTube channel and Liv, what that, maybe there was like something written in the contract they overlooked, but it's all hearsay right now. But that would be wild if Liv owned Bryson's YouTube channel.
That'd be pretty wild, because I feel like he had his channel before he was at Liv, but he wasn't really doing Liv stuff with it. And I'm sure that there's some, you know, just from a legal perspective, right? If Bryson's coming to my league at Liv, yes, I'm going to put stipulations on what he can and can't do in terms of talking about or showing Liv on his channel. But I don't think that doesn't translate to like, I own his channel. It just means that, you know, I own the right to say, you can't do that on your channel, Bryson.
Yeah, exactly. So that would be wild if something came out later, like Bryson had to go through some huge litigations or legal battle to like work out YouTube channel ownership issues.
Hey, he probably posted on YouTube and it'd be pretty entertaining.
Yeah, yeah, farm content out of that. Sydney Ray Golf, like things, female-based channels are helping grow the game. Yeah, so there are some female-based channels that have come up in the past couple of years that I think are help growing the game for females more than the LPGA. Same with like how Good and a lot of other YouTube channels are help growing golf than the PGA. Totally agree with you on that one. Like I would say 5 years ago, if you were a player-oriented female golfer trying to make content, that was your time to strike. Now it's too late with the Good Girls channel that just got released, and then there's Golf Gamer or Golf Game Girls that was been around for a couple of years now. So now female content creators that wanted to get into the game, they're kind of facing the same battle as male, I guess, content creators.
Yeah, but it's probably not as top. This is okay. I don't want
to watch what you say.
Yeah, it's not as top. I'm just gonna say it. It's not as top heavy as the male content space.
Oh no, yeah.
You don't have like this super mega dominant good. You have good girls, and maybe they'll get there, but you don't have the super mega dominant deal. My point on female golfers in the YouTube space is, as a massive consumer of YouTube content, it's really all I don't really watch TV anymore. I just watch YouTube. And most of what I watch is like golf. I watch tons of YouTube golf. It's really on us to give them a chance and follow their channels. And for me, the issue is always like weeding out the ones that are just thirst traps. I don't want to watch
Sure.
thirst
Fair.
trap
Yeah,
golf.
yeah,
I
yeah.
just want to
Yeah.
watch golf, and I
Yeah,
don't care
yeah.
if it's male or female. So that's sort of kind of where it's at. It's sort of on us, the people that consume a lot of YouTube golf. If we say, well, the women need to get into YouTube, we need to subscribe, we need to follow, we need to watch, we need to drive that up.
Exactly. Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
that's kind of where I'm at.
Definitely be an ally, right? Kind of in that kind of way.
Yeah.
So there are opportunities for that, but now it's pretty tough. And unfortunately, the whole space is everyone talks about this big YouTuber called Mr. Beast, right? He kind of gamed the YouTube algorithm to have like these very hyperbolic, types of content videos. So everyone on YouTube who are going after that piece kind of like follows the Mr. Beast path. So in golf, it's everyone follows the good path,
Yeah.
right? And so right now, like we've been trained to enjoy shot tracers, the zoomed in,
Yeah.
camcorder shots, which if you're a solo creator, it's near impossible to replicate because you don't have a second shooter, like a second filmer. But yeah, we've all been trained to enjoy this content, and it puts people like us who don't have someone that's filming us and zooming in with a camcorder
Drones,
drone on every hole. It puts us at a
B
disadvantage, right?
B-roll, custom soundtracks, a guy with a camera at the green.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So I mean, if I had to start from zero today, it would be such a struggle. It would
That's
be very
why
difficult.
that's why I
Yeah.
think the approach, the healthy approach probably for everybody, if there's I'm so tired of let me digress a little bit. First of all, I'm so tired of my feed as if I'm almost 53. So as a 53-year-old white male, my feed is clogged, even though I've never clicked on any of these with the things I've learned after 50,
I
the
see. Wow.
those are everywhere. If there is one thing that I would put in if I made one of those videos, it would be just do this because you enjoy the process and
Oh
because you
yeah.
enjoy it, right? Don't get caught up in any of the other BS. It's just not fun that way.
Yeah.
With
Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. But like,
no,
so I'll
that's it.
definitely be releasing a video like, posting 5 years of as a golf YouTuber, what I've
Yeah,
learned, kind of thing. But yeah, like for people who's starting out new, like don't focus and like I think the invention of the like button from Facebook was probably like one of the worst things for the human race because it starts
right
quantifying.
behind Facebook.
Right, yeah, yeah. But I think it like the problem with that, and this might get too big for this, conversation. But the problem with that is that it started quantifying interest,
Yeah,
right? And so then that turned into how do I capitalize off interest, right? And so people are putting their worth into numbers
yeah,
and like Instagram likes, TikTok hearts, or whatever, what have you. And so, like, even for me, sometimes I'm just randomly refreshing. There's a YouTube app called the Studio app. You're familiar with it,
yep,
and it tells you how many views you get. And it's kind of unfortunate. We've kind of programmed our brains now to equate worth
yeah,
into views and likes and thumbs ups and everything. So if you're starting as a YouTube golfer, like try really hard to not put that much worth into the views and just enjoy what you're posting for yourself.
yep.
Not easier said than done. I mean, I still look at my stats.
Refresh,
Right?
refresh, refresh.
Yeah, refresh my stats. Oh, did I get a new subscriber? Blah blah blah. But especially if you're starting out, you're probably not going to get many views. You might get like it's kind of weird. Maybe it's not as easy or not, but like the chance of things going viral, there is a chance you can go viral, right? And get like hundreds of thousands of views on something. But and if you can capitalize on that virality and keep making the same content and it maintains its linear growth, then
Yep,
boom, you've made it big. But that probability of that is very, 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 very low, right? So just keep posting and enjoy it, but don't think you're gonna, get that lucrative,
yeah.
multi-million subscriber, channel created and you can start doing this full time kind of thing.
My guest last week, Mark from MG Golf, he's over in Connecticut. His second video, actually his first video blew up. He had like over 100,000 views in like his first two videos and was immediately monetized. And so he went down that path and it's incredible. It's cool to hear, but yeah, you can't approach like that's going to happen to you. It just really doesn't. But Matt, I think this is been an awesome conversation. I appreciate you giving me the time. Actually, if you have just like 2 minutes here, I want to
Oh
do
yeah, yeah.
just a quick. This is just rapid fire. I call these tap ins. I'm going to give you an either or question, just kind of a fun way to end it.
Sure.
These are all. I think most of these are all golf related for the most part, but let's just get your take on all of these here. We'll run through 10 of these and then we'll wrap it up here for the evening.
Sure.
Number one, this one's tough. I wrote this one today and it was be tough for me. Mizuno or Mira?
Shoot, I haven't really played either. Just off the cuff, Mira.
Okay, you're Sunday afternoon. Pull you out of the crowd. Matt's got to hit a shot at either TPC Sawgrass 17th or TPC Scottsdale 16th.
Like
which one? Which one do you want to hit?
What I want to do?
Which one would you want to hit? You've either got people booing you and throwing beer cans, or you've got TPC Sawgrass 17th.
I think I'd be better on 16 actually. Than
Okay.
TPC. Because 17 is water. It's pretty like black and white if you did succeed or not. But like you can just miss the green and they boo you, but whatever. You know, like if I miss a green, that's fine. You know.
Yeah. Okay. You'll go viral for the beer cans getting thrown at you.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Here's Bay Area specific. Cal or Stanford?
I don't have a strong affinity to either, so I guess I'll say Stanford because of the women's golf team.
Yeah. Okay, golf vacation. It's all expense paid. Golf vacation. You go in Japan or New Zealand?
Oh, that's a good one. I think I'm going to Japan.
Yeah, that's a tough one. I wrote that one today too.
Yeah.
Favorite current men's pro?
Favorite, what's that?
Current favorite men's pro, yeah.
Favorite men's pro. That's a great question. I don't really.
I think you're like me. Like you said, you follow really just the majors, and that's kind of it. That's the only time I really sort of engage the PGA.
Yeah, I don't really. I mean, been a fan for a long time. Not sure what it says about me, but I'll just say Bryson. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Doesn't say anything about you. Says you like, well, Central Valley, right?
Yeah,
I had questions about that, and I never got to them.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. I think I know the answer to this one too. Current favorite women's pro.
I mean, could say Lydia, but I mean, there's just so many good ones to follow. We'll go Megan King.
Yeah, good one. Okay, this could be tough for you, Matt. One putter or no driver for an entire year.
I gotta have a driver. I'm gonna say one putter.
Okay. So what's your go-to on-course snack or drink?
Drink probably just water. Snack, obviously, I'm huge on Uncrustables.
Yeah.
But prior, if it's in the morning and prior to the course, getting there, I get McDonald's breakfast sandwiches. That's always my go-to for some. If it's super early in the morning because it's the only thing open and gotta do BOGO through the app. So
do you also do that? Do McDonald's before you do any of your at the turn videos?
No, I don't do. If I'm doing out the turn video, I don't no McDonald's for that day.
Yeah, I had a whole bunch of questions about that. Never got to them. We'll get them on another time. But
okay, so Roger knows Mickey D's beforehand.
Yeah, Roger knows Mickey D's. Roger also knows that I've got the Filipino barrel man up on my
observant. Love that.
Yeah, good catch, Roger. There's a story there. That was a gift. I should wear my shirt too. Okay, 2 last questions. Favorite YouTube golfer?
Favorite YouTube golfer? I mean, I could be corny. Obviously, I watched some of your stuff. I'll say you for now. I like the small guys. So like Golf with James too is good.
Yeah. Golf with James is really fun.
Actually, a tangent on that. I actually don't watch too much YouTube golf. Actually, I watch way more other stuff on YouTube. There's just the catalog of things you can watch is crazy.
I probably watch more things than golf based on what YouTube annual recap told me that I am.
Yeah,
the
sure,
award,
sure,
the
sure.
award that it gave me. But it feels like I just watch golf, but I don't. I probably watch way more non-golf, but yeah, yeah,
Yeah, so I think
yeah. Okay, fair enough. Okay, so here's the last one. Your next video off of every tee shot, you've got like, let's just say there's like 5 of your Discord members and they're gonna yell something. You get your choice. Is it get in the hole or mashed potatoes?
oh man.
I
I
hate
think
them both. I
I'll
hate them
take
both,
mashed
but
potatoes, I think. Mashed potatoes because get in the hole doesn't apply on some of the longer holes.
that doesn't. When does that ever stop people from yelling that? Like on a
Right, like a
600
par
yard
4.
par five.
Yeah, yeah. Get in the
Get
hole,
in the
yeah. I'll
hole.
take mashed potatoes.
Okay, okay, yeah, mashed potatoes. That'll work. That'll work. Well, Matt, that wraps up my sort of tap in questions. Been really fun. Been highly entertaining to talk to you, get to know you better, hear your thoughts, and get your perspective. If you're not already subscribed to Matt's channel, go subscribe to Golf Parfection. He will feed your golf YouTube golf habit. He's a great dealer in that drug because it's every Monday at 8 a.m. It's going to hit your subscription feed. So go to subscribe to Golf Parfection. Subscribe to my channel. Matt, any last parting words?
No, I just really appreciate you having me on here. And like I said, you've been, a part of the community, at least the Discord community, for quite some time. And, I appreciate you as a person, and like all the effort that you put into something like this just to have me on. And, all the best in like future endeavors on this as well. This was a lot of fun.
Yeah,
So yeah, I hope, you continue to feature us small guys, in a huge golf YouTube creator landscape because
that's the goal.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I think that's perfect for this this format is perfect for that. So yeah, like I said,
Cool,
great job on this. I had a lot of fun and yeah, keep the good times rolling.
cool, great. All right. Well, thank you again, Matt. Thank you to the chat. Thanks for jumping in,
Yeah, thanks
guys, with your
chat.
questions and keeping them flowing. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. And have a great evening.